Are you feeling overwhelmed by the obstacles in your life? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to get ahead? You might feel like every step forward comes with 2 steps back. It's like there's a constant weight on your shoulders, pulling you down. The truth is, everyone faces challenges, especially as we age and begin to reflect on our lives, our choices, and the relationships we've formed. But what if I told you that, sometimes, the thing that's holding you back isn't what you think it is? It might not be your job, your finances, or even your health. It could be the very relationship you think is helping you, a partner. As we get older, the idea of having a partner can seem like an essential, comforting thought. We think that having someone by our side will bring us happiness, fulfillment, and support. But the truth is, for many, having a partner as we grow older can be the very thing that holds us back from achieving true personal freedom and growth. It may be a harsh truth, but it's one we need to confront if we're ever going to move past the struggles we face in life. Today, I want to help you shift your perspective and recognize that you don't need a partner to succeed or to thrive. The power to create a fulfilling life is within you, and you need to begin seeing relationships not as a requirement for happiness, but as a potential obstacle to your growth. I know this might sound daunting, but I'm here to show you how this mindset shift can completely transform your life. Together, we'll explore how to break free from the limitations you've unknowingly placed on yourself. It's time to take control of your future and embrace a life where you're the driving force behind your happiness and success. As we grow older, relationships take on a different meaning. The early days of romance, where everything feels fresh, exciting, and full of possibilities, can evolve into a more complex and sometimes burdensome reality. When we're young, we're told that love is the ultimate goal, that a successful relationship will bring fulfillment, support, and security. But the truth is, as time passes, we begin to see the cracks in that idealistic view. Particularly as we age, relationships that were once a source of joy can become a hindrance rather than a help. Let's explore why this happens, and why it's essential to recognize when a relationship has outlived its purpose. As you grow older, you start to prioritize different aspects of your life: personal growth, independence, financial security, and emotional well-being. These things often clash with the dynamics of an unbalanced or toxic relationship. The very things that you used to value in a partnership, such as companionship or emotional support, can slowly turn into sources of conflict and frustration. If your partner is not aligned with your goals, values, or desires, it can feel like you're walking a different path, with your partner dragging you in another direction. Over time, this creates tension, resentment, and feelings of being stuck. Relationships, when they are healthy and balanced, are supposed to be sources of mutual support. They should encourage growth, allow both individuals to pursue their dreams, and help each other navigate life's challenges. But when relationships become toxic or one-sided, the opposite occurs. Instead of lifting you up, your partner can start to weigh you down. They might impose their dreams, expectations, or insecurities on you, forcing you to choose between your personal happiness and the maintenance of the relationship. This is particularly true in partnerships where one person is more dominant or controlling, leaving the other feeling powerless or trapped. In older age, we often find ourselves revisiting our past, reflecting on the years we've spent with a partner, and evaluating how far we've come, both together and apart. But if that partner has become emotionally or mentally stagnant, it can feel like you're stuck in a loop that prevents you from moving forward. You may no longer be growing together, but rather growing apart. Your partner may be content with the status quo while you're yearning for change, new experiences, or personal growth. And yet, the idea of leaving that partner behind feels daunting, overwhelming, and full of guilt. The thought of being alone, of having to navigate life without someone by your side, might seem scarier than staying in a relationship that doesn't serve you anymore. This is where the consequences of staying stuck in a toxic or unbalanced partnership start to become more evident. Emotionally, you may feel drained, disconnected, and isolated, even while in the relationship. The constant feeling of being misunderstood, or the fear that your needs aren't being met, can lead to depression, anxiety, and self-doubt. You might begin to lose sight of who you are as an individual, defined more by your relationship than by your own identity. Your desires, your dreams, and your passions may take a back seat, causing you to feel like you're living for someone else rather than for yourself. Financially, being in a toxic or unbalanced relationship can have a significant impact. If you've sacrificed your career, finances, or personal goals to keep your partner happy, it may feel like you've lost control of your own financial future. The long-term consequences of this can leave you vulnerable in your later years, particularly if the relationship has limited your ability to build wealth, invest in personal growth, or save for the future. You might be left in a position where you've invested so much time and energy into your partner's life and needs that you've neglected your own, financially, emotionally, and physically, socially. Staying in a relationship that isn't nurturing or fulfilling can also cause you to retreat from friendships and family. You may find yourself isolating from others to avoid conflict or because your partner discourages social connections. The isolation further exacerbates the feelings of loneliness and despair that often accompany staying in a toxic relationship. One of the most critical consequences of staying in a relationship that doesn't serve you is the loss of personal empowerment. When you prioritize someone else's happiness over your own, you start to lose touch with the things that make you uniquely you. You start to believe that your worth is tied to your partner's approval or affection. You may feel dependent on them, thinking that you can't survive or thrive without their support, when in reality, you have the inner strength and capability to create the life you truly want. Staying in a relationship that doesn't honor your needs means giving up your ability to fully engage with life and reach your potential. But here's the most empowering truth of all. You have the power to regain your independence and self-empowerment. The moment you recognize that staying in a relationship out of fear or obligation is hindering your growth, you can begin to take actionable steps to change your situation. The first step is realizing that you are worthy of happiness, fulfillment, and peace on your own terms. You don't need anyone's permission to live the life you desire. Your happiness and fulfillment are not dependent on anyone else, and when you embrace that truth, everything begins to change. Breaking free from a toxic or unbalanced relationship may feel overwhelming at first, but once you start taking small steps, the path becomes clearer. It's crucial to set boundaries, communicate your needs, and, when necessary, make the tough decision to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. This might involve uncomfortable conversations, difficult choices, and confronting your fears of being alone. But remember, true freedom and empowerment come when you stop allowing others to define your life and begin to take charge of your own destiny. The key to regaining independence is to reconnect with yourself. Rediscover the passions, hobbies, and goals that once brought you joy. Invest in your personal growth. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. By prioritizing yourself and your well-being, you will create the space necessary to build a fulfilling, independent life, one that's not bound by the limitations of a relationship that is holding you back. Regaining your self-empowerment means recognizing your worth and understanding that you don't need anyone else to complete you. You're already whole. Once you accept this and embrace your own power, you will find that you are capable of achieving your goals, pursuing your passions, and creating a life that aligns with your true desires. The journey to personal freedom may take time, but each step you take toward regaining your independence will bring you closer to the life you deserve. So, start today. Reflect on your relationships, evaluate their impact on your life, and take the necessary steps to free yourself from anything that isn't serving your highest good. You deserve to live a life that is fulfilling, empowering, and true to who you are. And the first step to that freedom is realizing that you don't need a partner to live your best life. You are your own source of power, and that power is limitless. I'm going to give you the tools and the encouragement to break free from any relationship that isn't serving your best interests. You might be asking yourself, but don't I need a partner to feel complete? Isn't love and connection what makes life worth living? The answer is more complicated than you might think. Yes, love and connection are vital, but only if they come from a place of mutual respect, growth, and healthy interdependence. If you're stuck in a relationship where you're compromising your values, sacrificing your happiness, or feeling suffocated, then it's time to reconsider whether this partnership is truly helping you grow. Throughout this guide, we'll dive into why it's important to break free from the societal expectation that you need a partner to have a fulfilling life. We'll look at practical steps to build your confidence, pursue your goals, and, ultimately, thrive on your own terms. You're about to learn that your happiness, fulfillment, and personal growth are within your control, not dependent on someone else. So, let's start by exploring the problem and why it's so important to address it. Many of us grow up with a certain belief instilled in us, whether by our families, the media, or society, that happiness is found in a partnership. From a young age, we're told that the ultimate goal in life is to find the one, a partner who will complete us, offer love, security, and support, and help us live out our dreams. This narrative is woven into the fabric of our culture through fairy tales, romantic comedies, and books that all seem to tell the same story. Two people meet, fall in love, and lived happily ever after. We're taught that happiness hinges on this relationship, that love and companionship are the key to a fulfilling life. We grow up watching characters find their soulmate and believing that the ideal relationship is one where two people are perfectly matched in every way. It's a beautiful dream, but as we age and experience life, we come to realize that this fantasy doesn't always hold true. Relationships can be far more complicated than we were led to believe, and what seemed like the ultimate goal may not be the source of happiness we thought it would be. As we get older, we start to see that relationships are not a simple equation of two people coming together to live a perfect, blissful life. They are complex, filled with challenges, misunderstandings, and sometimes deep emotional conflicts. This realization often hits when we find ourselves in relationships where we feel disconnected, unsupported, or even suffocated. What we once thought would be a source of joy and fulfillment can begin to feel like a heavy burden, especially when our partner isn't aligned with our goals, values, or aspirations. In the beginning of a relationship, there is often an exciting sense of connection. Everything feels new, and the passion of new love can make the world seem brighter. But over time, the realities of life set in. As we get older, we start to change. Our needs evolve, our dreams grow, and we begin to have a clearer sense of who we are and what we want out of life. But sometimes, our partners don't evolve in the same way, or they may not share the same goals or values. This is where the tension begins. When you and your partner are no longer aligned, it can feel like you're pulling in opposite directions. Perhaps you have developed a passion for something new, whether it's a career path, a personal interest, or a new way of thinking, and your partner doesn't understand or support this change. Maybe your values around family, career, or personal freedom differ. What once felt like a harmonious partnership can start to feel like a series of compromises, where you're sacrificing parts of yourself to accommodate someone else's needs or desires. The weight of responsibility in a partnership also begins to become more evident as we age. Relationships require work, constant communication, compromise, and sometimes putting the needs of another person above your own. While this can be healthy in moderation, the reality is that, over time, it can start to feel suffocating. You might find yourself losing your sense of self as you prioritize your partner's needs or accommodate their wants, and you may begin to feel like you're living your life for someone else rather than for yourself. This sense of suffocation intensifies when your partner is not aligned with your goals. For example, if you have ambitions or dreams that require time, energy, and focus, but your partner doesn't support or understand those aspirations, you may begin to feel conflicted. You want to pursue what makes you happy, but you feel guilty or pressured by your partner's desires or expectations. This creates a cycle of tension and dissatisfaction, where neither person is able to fully realize their potential because they are trapped in a relationship that is no longer serving either of them. In some cases, the partnership can become one-sided, with one person consistently giving and the other taking without offering mutual support. This lack of balance can leave one partner feeling exhausted and emotionally drained, while the other may feel unfulfilled but reluctant to change. The longer this goes on, the harder it becomes to break the cycle. You might feel trapped in a relationship where you're no longer growing, where your aspirations feel out of reach, and where your needs are consistently neglected. There's also the emotional toll of staying in a relationship that's not aligned with your personal growth. When your partner's values or goals don't align with yours, it creates emotional dissonance. You begin to question whether you're in the right place, whether you're making the right choices, and whether you're living authentically. Over time, this emotional unrest can erode your self-esteem and sense of self-worth. You might start to doubt your own instincts or feel like you're not deserving of a partnership that truly supports and nurtures your individuality. But perhaps the most challenging part is the fear of losing the relationship. We've all been told that love is worth fighting for, that relationships are meant to be nurtured through compromise and sacrifice. And while that's true to an extent, there comes a point when we have to ask ourselves, are we sacrificing too much of who we are in the process? Are we so focused on preserving a relationship that we're neglecting our own growth and happiness? The fear of loneliness, of being alone, can be paralyzing. We're often taught that being single means something is wrong with us or that we're incomplete. This fear can keep us in unhealthy or unbalanced relationships longer than we should be. We might convince ourselves that being in any relationship, even a problematic one, is better than being alone. But this mindset only prolongs the dissatisfaction and makes it more difficult to move forward. As you grow older, you may start to realize that a fulfilling life doesn't need to be centered around a partner. Happiness doesn't come from someone else completing you. It comes from being fully aligned with yourself, your values, and your own aspirations. You begin to see that a healthy relationship is one where both people grow together, support each other's individual goals, and create a partnership based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared vision. When a relationship fails to provide that support, or when the partners are no longer aligned in meaningful ways, it's time to reassess whether the relationship is still adding value to your life or whether it's hindering your personal growth. This doesn't mean that love or partnership is inherently bad or that you should avoid relationships altogether. What it means is that, as we age, we need to redefine what a healthy relationship looks like. It's not about finding someone to complete us. It's about finding someone who complements us, supports us in our personal growth, and aligns with our values and goals. Relationships should enhance your life, not drain you of your energy or stifle your ambitions. Ultimately, the complexity of relationships as we age isn't something to fear. It's an opportunity for growth and self-awareness. It's a chance to learn about ourselves, about what truly matters to us, and about what we want from the people we choose to share our lives with. The sooner we realize that happiness doesn't hinge on a partner, the sooner we can create lives that are fulfilling, independent, and authentic, whether we're in a relationship or not. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we need someone else to complete us or validate our worth. But this mindset only holds us back. It creates dependency rather than independence. It ties our happiness to someone else's behavior, making our joy conditional and fleeting. When we place our happiness in the hands of another person, we hand over control of our own lives. And when things inevitably go wrong, whether it's an argument, a disagreement, or simply growing apart, it can feel like our entire world is falling apart. Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship where you're constantly compromising your own needs and desires? Maybe you've put your partner's needs first, or sacrificed your own dreams for the sake of the relationship. Over time, this can drain your energy, leaving you feeling empty, resentful, and disconnected from yourself. When you grow older, these feelings only intensify. You begin to realize that the dreams you had for yourself may have been put on the back burner, while the dreams of your partner were prioritized. You may start to feel like you're losing sight of who you truly are, caught in the web of someone else's expectations and desires. What happens when we ignore these feelings and continue to live in unhealthy partnerships? The consequences can be devastating. Emotionally, you may experience feelings of loneliness, frustration, and anxiety, even while surrounded by a partner. Socially, you may begin to isolate yourself from friends or family who are trying to tell you that something isn't right. Financially, staying in a relationship that's holding you back from pursuing your own goals can prevent you from reaching your full potential. Mentally and physically, the stress of an unhealthy relationship can take a toll on your well-being. The longer you stay in this toxic dynamic, the harder it becomes to break free. It's a vicious cycle that only gets worse over time. I know how painful it can be to feel like you're stuck. You might be wondering, what if I leave and regret it? What if I'm alone forever? These fears are real, but I want you to know that you are not alone in this. You have the power to take control of your own life. You don't have to rely on anyone else to validate your worth. Your value comes from within you. And once you recognize that, you'll see that the only thing holding you back from living the life you truly want is your own fear. Now, let's talk about how to change your mindset and take back control. The first step in overcoming this problem is to shift your mindset. You need to begin viewing yourself as complete and whole, independent of any relationship. This doesn't mean that you won't seek connection or companionship, but it does mean that you will not rely on anyone else to make you feel complete. You are your own source of happiness, and the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you'll begin to thrive. Once you've made this mindset shift, the next step is to take actionable steps toward reclaiming your independence. Start by identifying your goals, both short-term and long-term, and take concrete steps toward achieving them. If you've been putting your dreams on hold for the sake of a partner, it's time to prioritize your own aspirations. Set aside time for yourself each day to work on your goals, whether it's pursuing a new career, learning a new skill, or simply dedicating time to self-care. Building your confidence is another key component of reclaiming your independence. Practice positive self-talk, surround yourself with supportive people, and remind yourself every day that you are capable of achieving great things on your own. The more you reinforce this belief, the more you will begin to see opportunities open up in your life. Let's take a moment to think about real-life examples of people who've successfully overcome similar challenges. There are countless stories of individuals who've broken free from unhealthy relationships and gone on to create fulfilling, successful lives on their own. Take, for instance, Sarah, a woman in her late 40s who had been in a long-term relationship that was draining her emotionally and financially. She had always put her partner's needs before her own, and had lost sight of her own dreams. After much soul-searching, she made the difficult decision to leave. It wasn't easy, but it was one of the best decisions she ever made. Over time, she rebuilt her confidence, reconnected with her passions, and found success in her career. She's now thriving in every area of her life, and while she still values connection, she no longer depends on a partner to feel whole. If Sarah can do it, so can you. But breaking free from old habits and mindsets is never easy. You'll face challenges along the way. Fear, doubt, and guilt will creep in. You may even face external pressure from friends or family who don't understand why you're making these changes. But remember, this is your life. You get to choose how to live it. Stay focused on your own goals and remember that your happiness is in your hands. To help maintain your momentum, it's important to set small, achievable goals and celebrate every victory, no matter how small. This will keep you motivated and focused on the long-term outcome. And don't forget to practice self-care. It's easy to burn out when you're pushing yourself too hard, so take time to rest and recharge. Finally, remember that personal growth is a lifelong journey. It doesn't stop once you've reached your goals. Keep striving for continuous improvement, learning from each experience, and celebrating your successes along the way. You have the power to change your life. Now, take a deep breath and commit to one small action today. Whether it's identifying your goals, setting boundaries with your partner, or simply taking time for yourself, every step you take is a step toward a brighter, more fulfilling future. You can do this. The rewards will be worth every step. Now go ahead and take that first step. Your future self will thank you for it.